So Wargaming has announced that there is going to be an auction. And I'm going to tell you exactly the same thing as I did last time there was an auction, that you should probably not spend everything that you own just to get one tank. But we'll move on to that in a little bit later on. The auction is going to start from tomorrow, which will be the 24th of January 2024 at 10 AM, that's Central European time, and will last until 11 PM Central European time. That is obviously 9 AM for the UK and 10 PM ending time for the UK. For everywhere else in the world, I'm guessing it's going to be very similar sort of start times and end times, but just check on your portals for your specific region. Now, we don't know everything that's going to be in there, obviously, but they have said that there is going to be a new tank, and I have just got this muted because the last time there was a few like copyright issues. I didn't get striked or anything. It was just I had to like blur out the background video or the background audio. Sorry, so there was some like music that was copyrights from someone else. But there will be a new Apex Predator, which is going to have mobility, armor, and firepower, and rocket boosters. Now, straight away, I'm thinking that it's going to be this thing, because one, it's Apex, which means that it's top of the food chain, so it's going to be tier 10. It's not going to be a BZ-176 because they didn't say that it was an old tank. It's going to be a new Apex Predator. This is probably going to be it. This is the only tank that I know that is top of the tech tree or top of the tier 10, and that has boosters. I'm guessing that it's going to be this thing. And if it is this thing, I wouldn't rush out and go and spend every single resource you own just to get this tank, when a BZ-75 is going to be kind of trading blows with it here and there. Because yes, if you do go ahead and look at it, yes, it does have a little bit more DPM, but then you sacrifice some alpha damage, so you kind of backwards and forwards trading blows. It's around about the same amount of penetration. Obviously, this does get a lot less of a reload time because of that, so that is something to consider. This does get a 130 caliber gun compared to 152, so you can't overmatch as much stuff. But I mean, overall, every single time that you look at it, you're like, I mean, this is definitely better than the BZ, like the gun-wise, but not amazing. And then you go down to the mobility, very, very similar kind of mobility. It's definitely not amazing considering you go at 30 kilometers an hour once those boosters are ended, so you're going to need a turbo to boost it up as much as you can. And while yes, it does have better armor than the BZ, it doesn't really, it doesn't scream I am impenetrable, right? You have two cupolas up here. Yes, you have two instead of the three on the BZ-75, but I mean, it just seems fine, right? And if you already have a BZ-75, I'll be debating whether or not you want to use this. So if that is the tank that goes in, the BZ-72-1, obviously you should weigh up your pros and cons of whether or not you just want to get a BZ-75 or something that is a little bit different, but mostly the same. Now, obviously, I will be making videos on each new auction as it goes through, so on the day you will know. I'll aim to get them out as early as possible so that you can then make your informed decision from there. And I will run down the stats of each tank and tell you if it's worth it or not, in my opinion. Obviously, for you, it might be completely different, and what I say might not mean anything to you, and you want the tank anyway, and that's completely fine as well. Obviously, accessing the auction is going to be much the same as every other year. It will be in the store page, and then at the very top with the auction with the little hammer icon. Now, moving on to the rules, because this is actually quite interesting. There is no bids for free XP. So if you have been converting all your free XP from Christmas or whatnot, there's no bids for free XP. Save that, all of that XP for Assembly Shop if it comes, which, let's be honest, it'll probably come at some point soon. But it is only bids with gold or credits. And you will, of course, be able to adjust your bid as and when you want to, even cancel your bid if you don't want to no longer feel like you want to put in whatever cost it is. You do have more than enough time to bid. You have, what, 11 hours? Right? Sorry, 13 hours to bid. That's a pretty decent time. So even if you get home from work late, you should still have more than enough time to watch a few videos from different content creators on the tank that is being up for grabs, and then make your informed decision from there. So this is all well and good, and yes, it builds up a lot of hype, and everyone gets very excited over this. I hope that they're not going to put the BZ-176 in there. I despise that vehicle. It should never be sold again and should honestly just be removed from the game, and then everyone just refunded the gold value. But that's besides, whatever. But one thing that I am going to say is that there's something that every single person does. If there is a tank like the FV215B183, it is not worth 23 million credits, okay? Or however much it went for last time. I went and paid 23 million credits. It's not worth it. No tank is worth that much money in the game unless it is an exceptionally good vehicle. Or you have every other tank in the game and that's the one tank that you don't have. For when these auctions come around and it's for credits or gold I don't really care about as much because I feel like if you want to spend your gold, then just spend your gold, right? It's your money. You should go and do with it whatever you want. However, when it comes to credits, I feel like people are so quick to just sell everything that they own just to get one tank, and then they just regret it most of the time. Like, they're then struggling throughout the rest of the year because they don't have enough credits left. They've sold everything else. They don't have to buy back all their tier 10s or whatever else they've sold. I feel like it can be a very, very quick descent of your account if you sell everything. Like, I remember when the FV215B was first in the auction, and this was the very first auction, so the first one they ever ran, and I went ahead and sold so much stuff. I sold, I think, 3 or 4 tier 10s, which only gave me like 3 million each. Then I sold everything that I had in like consumables, and then I got it, and it's not worth those, 3 or 4 tier 10 tanks that you lost just to gain one. And I mean, yes, you can just go ahead and grind the credits back, but that takes time and effort and a lot of like willpower, I guess. So I will just say, just be careful. If there's a tier 8 premium for credits though, then that is 100% worth it because you are then just spending basically nothing on the tank but paying credits. And as long as you are getting a tier 8 premium that you feel like you're going to play and you'll probably earn those credits back over time, then okay, that's probably worth it. But I wouldn't spend any more credits on a tier 8 premium than say like 10, 12 million maybe, because that's going to take you a long time to grind those 12 million back if you're going to be using that tank. Like, let's say you can grind 1 million in an hour. That's 12 hours of your time just hardcore grinding. And not everybody's going to earn 1 million an hour. For an average player who doesn't have every single booster running and doesn't have a premium account, that might be literally half of that. So it could be a full day of just pure credit grinding, which is quite painful, honestly. So yeah, at the end of the day, it's your resources, it's your money, like your gold, your credits, you do whatever you want with it. But I wouldn't go away and remove all your account just to get one tank. Let me know what you think down in the comments down below. I'll see you all in the next video, and I'll see you tomorrow for the first auction.